right, today we are going to look at putting a polynomial in standard form. Now, a polynomial means it is a kind of expression here with more than one term, and it often has exponents on it. So the first thing we're going to do is put it in standard form, listing the biggest exponent to the smallest, making sure the correct signs are attached. We're going to name the degree and the leading coefficient. So I'm going to look right here first. I'm going to put 5x squared is going to go first, plus 4x goes next, minus 11. So remember, the 11 had a negative in front of it. The 4 and 5 both had positives in front of it, so they have to stay like that. Now, the degree is the biggest exponent. In this case, it's 2. The leading coefficient is when I look for the degree with the biggest exponent. The number, the leading coefficient, that's the number in front of the letter. So I'm going to call it 5. So we're just going to do a couple of other ones. We're going to look at number 3. I'm going to do some of these here in this video, and then I'm going to do some in person. So I'm not going to do all of them. So we're going to look at 3. So I'm looking at this one here. I've got 3p squared minus 6p cubed plus 9p to the 4th. So I know the 4th is the biggest. So I'm going to go 9p to the 4th. And then next I have p to the 3. So I have to put that negative 6p to the 3rd. And then I have plus 3p squared. The biggest degree, I don't add all the exponents up, I just look at the biggest one, is 4. And the leading coefficient in front of that is 9. It's that number all by itself. Okay. Maybe we'll do one more like this, and then I'll move to one other thing I want to teach you. We've got 16x to the 4th minus 18x squared. This one is in standard form already. 16x to the 4th. And we've got minus 18 squared. That looks great. We're going to say the degree is 4. That's the biggest exponent. Not the letter, but the number in front of the one with the biggest exponent is 16. That leading coefficient, most people make a mistake on, so be careful when checking that. Not the biggest number, 18 it might be bigger, but 16 is in front of that x to the 4th. We're going to do some where we have to combine like terms. So we're going to look at 21 here. We've got all of these. I'm going to put all the squares together first. So I'm just going to kind of underline that. I'm looking, I've got negative 5y plus 10 plus 3y squared plus 2y minus 2y squared minus 9. And when I'm combining like terms, I want to put all of the ones with the same exponent and same letter together. Okay, that's what combining like terms means. So when I look through this, I want to put it in standard form as well. So I'm going to look for all the y squared. That's the biggest exponent I see. So this has a y squared, and this has a y squared. 3y squared and negative 2y squared ends up giving me just y squared. Okay, because we had to subtract there. So I've used those. So now I'm going to go back and underline all the ones with y, because that's the next one. So, and I'm going to use a different color here. We've got 5y, negative 5y, and 2y. So I'm going to put those together right in here. Negative 5y and 2y gives me negative 3y. Be careful of, like adding in those integers, we call them, and putting them together when one is a negative and a positive. Okay, now we're going to look at what numbers we have left over. They don't have any y's. We've got 10 and negative 9. So we're now going to put those together. 10 and negative 9 is just 1. Oop, I don't know how that ended up way over there. Or right here. Plus 1. And we're done. We combine like terms and put it in standard form. Let's do that same thing here for 23. 23 is cut off a little bit, but I'm just going to put it right here in a text box at the bottom. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, you know what? I'm going to do number 24 because it's just a little bit different, so I'll show you a different kind. I have 15 minus 5m to the 6th plus 7m minus 2 plus 11m minus 5m to the 4th. So I've got negative 5m to the 6th is my first one. It doesn't have anything to combine with it, so I'm just going to move it right down here to my standard form. Put it in exactly. Okay, now I'm looking what's the next biggest exponent I have. Oh, I've got negative 5m to the 4th. Oop, let's use a different color. Negative 5m to the 4th. So I'm going to do that one next. So that's minus 5m to the 4th. Okay, now I've got m looks like the next one. I don't have any squared or cubed, so I'm going to combine m's. Oh, look, I've got 2 here. 7 plus 11. So I'm going to go in here. So set 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I've got 8 plus, plus 18m. Now I don't have any others, so I can go right here and do the 15 and the negative 2 and put them together. And 15 minus 2 gives me 13. So I'm going to write here at the end plus 13, and I'm all done. I combined those like terms. Some had something to combine with, some didn't. So finally, I'm going to do one similar to that are finding sums of polynomials. I'm going to do 25 and 27, and then I'm going to do 5 and 7 right here below. Yeah, maybe I'll do 5 and 11. Make it a little harder. Okay, so I'm just going to add the ones that are alike. We've got the ones that are alike here are 6x and 2x. Let's put them together. 6, 7, 8. 8x. And then I've got right here 4 and 5. So I'm just going to put those together. That's it. 4 plus 5 is 9. The whole thing. It's done. Now I'm going to go look at number 27. So I'm going to do this one just slightly differently. I'm going to go through and I'm going to put a color next to the ones that are alike and then do it all at the same time. This has to the third power. This has to the third power. Those two are going to go together. This is to the second power and this is to the second power. So that's going to go together. I'm going to be careful of my signs. This is 3x. This is 6x. They go together. So now I'm going to multiply those, I'm going to add those ones that are in red together. 4 plus 2 is 6. And I keep the exponents the same because I'm just adding. And then we've got negative 5x squared and negative 2x squared. So I'm going to put those together. I get negative 7x squared. I'm being careful of my signs. And then I've got 3x and 6x. That gives me 9x. That's the whole thing. Now, with subtraction, it's a little bit different. I'm going to show you 2 ways. Okay? First thing I'm going to do is the same that I've been doing. We've got 3a squared and 2a squared are going to go together. And I know 1 and 4 are going to go together. So I'm going to think of it as subtraction each time. We've got 3, I'm right here at 3a squared minus 2a squared is just a squared. And then we've got 1 minus 4 is negative 3. So I'm just kind of saying that each time, knowing that I've got to do that it's subtraction. For number 7, I'm going to do it slightly differently. I am going to distribute the negative first. So I'm just going to change this. This is going to say parentheses 5a plus 4. And then I'm going to change it to a plus sign because I'm going to distribute that negative. And I get negative 5a minus 3. Okay? This is that fun and exciting distributive property. It's like I multiplied each of these by a negative here. Okay? So then I can just say, all right, I know my 5a's go together, 5a and negative 5a, and I know my 4 and negative 3 go together because they don't have an a or an exponent. And I'm just going to get 5a plus negative 5a is 0, and 4 minus 3 is 1. So that's my final answer. Okay, we're going to do one more and we'll call this done. Sorry that this one's a little bit long. So I am going to do this one like I did the first one. You could distribute that negative if you wanted. That's totally fine. I'm going to go through and just say, okay, 12a to the 5th goes with 2a to the 5th. I know that negative 10a to the 3rd doesn't go with anything. I know that negative 14a to the 4th doesn't go with anything. But I know that negative 6a and negative 10a go together. And I'm going to put this in standard form as I go. So I'm going to do the biggest, that's 12a. 12a minus a negative 2a becomes 12a to the 5th minus a negative 2a to the 5th becomes 14a to the 5th. And again, distributing that negative might make it easier for you. That's fine. Next comes to the 4th. Negative 14a to the 4th doesn't go anywhere, but remember it has a negative in front of it. So it becomes positive 14a to the 5th. Now we've got negative 10a to the 3rd. There's nothing that goes with it, so I just bring it down. And then I'm going to combine negative 6a minus a negative minus 10a, which becomes negative 16a. It's a little bit complicated. It might be easier to make all those negative first. We could have done that. And this would be like negative 10a plus 2a to the 5th plus 14a to the 4th might be easier to do. And that's fine as well. Okay.